Why France is seething. The US Australia military deal that has enraged Paris. France is upset because it has lost a mega submarine deal to the US and because it feels humiliated at being kept in the dark about what the other three democracies were planning. The trilateral security arrangement announced by the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom on Thursday, creating AUKUS, Australia, UK, US, has left France enraged, which has called it a stab in the back. France is upset because it has lost a mega submarine deal to the US and because it feels humiliated at being kept in the dark about what the other three democracies were planning. Allies, the French foreign minister has said, do not do this to each other. So, what does Australia get out of this deal with the US and the UK? This is the only second time in history that the US has agreed to share its capability of building nuclear powered submarine with another country. The only other nation that benefited in the past is the UK, with which the US has shared the technology as part of an arrangement that dates to 1958. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced in a statement on Thursday that over the next 18 months, Australia, the UK, and the US will intensify examine the full suite of requirements that underpin nuclear stewardship and demonstrate a clear pathway to becoming a responsible and reliable steward of this sensitive technology. He said that nuclear powered submarines do not have the same limitations that face conventional submarines on weapons, storage, speed, and endurance, and can stay completely submerged for many months, limiting the opportunities for detection by adversaries. As a three ocean nation, it is necessary for Australia to have access to the most capable submarine technology available. As a nation, we are ready to take the step to pursue the most advanced submarine technology available to defend Australia and its national interest. These submarines will give Australia the strategic capability to conduct operations in the larger Pacific region, including the South China Sea. This is the main reason why AUKUS is being viewed as a pact to curtail China's assertiveness by propping up Australia's strategic naval capabilities. But the three countries emphasized during the announcement on Thursday, September 16, that Australia is not seeking to acquire nuclear weapons or to establish a civil nuclear capability. And is this only about nuclear powered submarine? No, it is not. While the rare willingness shown by American to share advanced military technology with Australia has been the focus of the reporting on AUKUS, there is a lot more than the deal will bring for Australia. Morrison mentioned in his announcement that Australia will also acquire additional long range strike capabilities for the Australian Defence Force, and through the next decade it will rapidly acquire long range strike capabilities to enhance the ADF's ability to deliver strike effects across our air, land, and maritime domains. Foremost among the other weapons that will be made available to Australia is the Tomahawk cruise missile, which the American and British navies use for land attacks from ships and submarines. These long range all weather missiles, Morrison said, would be deployed on the Royal Australian Navy's Howard class destroyers, enabling our maritime assets to strike land targets at greater distances with better precision. Although the Tomahawk land attack missile is subsonic missile, meaning it travels at speeds that are significantly lower than that of sound, its nuclear warhead can hit targets well over 2000 km away, making it a formidable weapon. In addition, Australia will get joint air to air surface standoff missiles extended range, which will enable it F-18 AB Hornet supersonic multi-role combat jets, and in the future F-35A Lightning II multi-role stealth fighter aircraft to hit targets at a range of 900 km. They will also get long-range anti-ship missiles for their Hornets. Australian land forces will get precision strike guided missiles that are capable of destroying neutralizing and suppressing diverse targets from over 400 kilometers away, Morrison said in his announcement. But why does the military empowerment of Australia with American and British help make France unhappy? There is a history to this. Back in 2006, Australia had signed a contract to buy 12 short fin Barracuda Block 1A attack class conventional diesel electric submarine from the French shipbuilder DCNS, which is now known as the Naval Group. The joint announcement of the New Deal by Prime Minister Morrison, President Joe Biden, and Prime Minister Boris Johnson was in effect also an announcement that Australia had torn up that earlier contract with France. Morrison did not even mention the deal with France during the three-way video conference among the leaders, and the Biden administration said that it had not told the French beforehand because it was clear that they would not be happy, the New York Times reported. The Americans had decided to leave it to the Australians to break the news to the French, NYT said. On Thursday, Jean-Yves Le Drian, the French foreign minister, told France Info Radio, "It's really a stab in the back. We had established a relationship of trust with Australia. This trust has been betrayed." He added that he had spoken to his Australian counterpart recently and had received no indication of what was coming. Le Drian, who was President Francois Hollande's defense minister when the deal was signed 5 years ago, was quoted as saying that he was angry and very bitter about this breakup. The cancellation of the deal with Australia means huge potential revenues for the French military industry are lost, while American companies manufacturing arms and military equipment can look forward to making large profits. The French minister also said that the country was not going to let the Australians get away with ditching the contract. "This is not over," he was quoted as saying in a report in Politico. "We are going to need clarifications. We have contracts. The Australians need to tell us about how they are getting out of it. We are going to need an explanation. We have an intergovernmental deal that we signed with the great fanfare in 2019 with precise commitments with clauses. How are they getting out of it? They are going to have to tell us. So this is not the end of the story," Le Drian said. The New York Times said while the France-Australia deal had collapsed, a harsh legal battle over the contract appears inevitable. The French minister also attacked the US, saying the move by the Biden administration was something that the president's unpredictable predecessor Donald Trump might have been expected to do. "What concerns me as well is the American behavior." The Politico report quoted him as saying, "This brutal, unilateral, unpredictable decision looks very much like what Mr. Trump used to do. Allies don't do this to each other. It's rather insufferable." In a joint statement reported by The Guardian, Le Drian and the French Defense Minister Florence Parly said, "The American decision, which leads to the exclusion of a European ally and partner like France from a crucial partnership with Australia at a time when we are facing unprecedented challenges in the Indo-Pacific region, be it over values or respect for a multilateralism based on the rule of law, signals a lack of consistency which France can only notice and regret." France has cancelled a gala that was scheduled for Friday evening at its embassy in Washington, D.C. to mark 240th anniversary of the Battle of the Caves, a key battle in the American Revolutionary War. And what has prompted Canberra to ditch Paris on the deal? For Australia, the obvious advantage is that they were able to get a much better and strategically significant technology compared to what they would have got from France. As mentioned above, the deal with the French naval group was the 12 conventional diesel submarine. The US is now offering to not just provide Australia with technological superior nuclear powered submarine, but also help to build them a coveted technology that is available only with a few select nations. The rise in costs would be another factor. The French deal, initially for AUD $50 billion at almost 37 billion at today's rate, was greeted with rejoicing in the French media. Cost escalation since then ensured that Australia's bill for 12 Barracudas would be nearly Australian $90 billion. What Australia will pay under the AUKUS agreement has not been declared. Also, there is the question of delays. For Australia and the US, effective patrolling of the Pacific Ocean is an immediate requirement that cannot wait, given especially the threat from aggressive Chinese expansionism. Australia's 6 Colin class submarines are aging and slated to be retired in 5 years from now. Thank you.